Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Allison, where I interview some of the most inspiring and talented artists in our industry. Today, I'm excited, and I really am excited, you guys. I happen to know her personally, to introduce you to Jessie McCall. She's a 19-year-old stylist who's already renting her own chair and building her career in the industry. Jessie's bubbly personality and dedication to her craft has set her apart at such a young age. We're going to dive into her journey, what motivates her, and the unique experiences she's had so far. So let's get inspired, everybody. Jessie, welcome to the show.
Hi. Okay, wait, hang on. Sorry, my cat just unplugged my charger. I think she might be... Oh, oops.
Your cat? That is so funny.
Yeah, she might be like a little bit in that clip, but that could be funny to have, so I don't mind.
You know what? Hey, we will keep it because you know what? I hate editing. I don't like to do too much editing because that's what happened.
She literally walked in.
She's like, hello.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Well, you know what I normally have to deal with? I finally changed all the soil in my live plants because I had gnats galore. So some of my episodes, I'm literally swatting. I'm like, you know what? And in a few, I gave up. I'm like, okay, Nat, how was your day? Like, how long have you been in the industry? Because I can't. Yeah, exactly. So enough about my gnats. All right. Let's get into you. Let's start, Jessie, with your background and what inspired you. So you're, again, I have to say this because I'm always so impressed when young people do very adult things, like know who they want to be in life and get started and get on it early. And the fact that you're already renting your chair at 19, I mean, kudos to you, my love. So you've already rented your own chair. How did you know you were ready to take that leap?
So I think that I actually was not ready. If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't want to say that I had like the universe like pushed me to do it, but it definitely wasn't like a decision that I had made on my own. It kind of just happened and it fell into my lap off the whim. I had gone into a commission salon after I was done assisting, and I think that the hair industry can be very cutthroat and that it's really important to find groups and spaces of people that are like uplifting and they want to help. So after going into that, I realized that commission wasn't for me and I like money. So I wanted to be able to have all of my money. So I had left there on a whim. I was just going with my gut. And I had gotten on this app called ShearShare, which is an amazing app for any hairstylist that ever need like a day rental or a week rental, anything. Like that is the app to get on. And I'd gotten on there and I had found a suite for me to take my clients in while I was kind of like figuring out what I wanted to do and stuff like that. And then I had a talk with the owner of that suite, and she said that she was willing to let me like rent it for Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Okay.
So it's not fully my own. I'm not fully paying for my own. I do share it. But I am in it on my own Wednesdays and Saturdays. So it's
well, I would imagine, you know, when we work in tighter or let's see, just more intimate spaces, then it's harder the outreach is a little harder.
It is.
You don't have the overflow of a busier seasoned stylist. You don't have their overflow. You have to really grind and hustle. So I wouldn't discount the fact that you are halfsies with someone.
Yeah.
To even go half, you have to have something in order to contribute. And the fact that you've been able to do that, give yourself credit because that's a milestone for you.
100%
in your journey. And I'm going to say this to you because I've been saying this on interviews all week, especially to your generation, is that you're your own competition always in this cutthroat, as you mentioned, industry of ours. Forget about who is doing what outside of what you're doing. You're your own competition, and your own personal best is always your marker in
And
order, compete with yourself, in other words.
I literally love that. And
You
I've been
know?
going through that too, is understanding that like I'm the only person that's holding me back. Like, and I have to like realize that and understand that. And like, I'm the only person telling me like, you don't have enough clients. You're not ready to be in your own suite. Like, you build your own confidence.
Yeah, and your worth is built in it's in your body already. You just have to know how to hone in and accept it and get rid of any imposter's syndrome you may have.
Which I get
Because,
all the time.
oh my God, we all do, because you are you graduated beauty school, one, because I can tell you how many don't statistically.
Yeah.
My COVID brain won't allow me to remember right now, but that number is quite large. You'd be surprised how many people don't finish.
Yeah. Or even get your lessons.
You made it past apprenticeship. You have made it to going in half with another stylist and managing your own chair. So
thank you.
Give yourself your flowers. You deserve them. Oh, hi.
I'm so sorry.
So you were saying, I'm sorry, I can go on all day, because my passion is to help new hairstylists, and you are one of them. So this is I've been so excited to do this interview, because this is where my heart I can just pour it all into you. I'm elated.
Like, we need more Kims in we need them.
Yes. So you were saying, so let's go on to what made you fall in love with hairdressing, Jessie, and how did you get started? Like, talk about that.
So it's honestly sounds so cliche, but like growing up, like I always did my American Girl dolls hair, and my aunt was a hairstylist. And I can remember when I was like 8 or 9 and I called her and I was like, okay, like, how do I get into the hair industry? Like, I know that this is what I'm going to do. And she told me and all of this stuff. And then when I was in junior high is when I learned about a program that I could start my junior and senior year of high school. And it's called EVIT. So I could go to EVIT, which is a trade school that has a cosmetology program, while I was in high school, my junior and senior year. So immediately when I got into high school as a freshman, I was so excited to be a junior, because all I could think about was going to hair school, and I was so excited. And then my sophomore year, so the summer after my sophomore year, the second the portal opened to apply, I applied and I got in.
Yay!
I started hair school my junior and senior year. And I've also always known that I wanted to do hair, because anytime like people would talk about college or wanting to go to college or like kind of like that path in life, I was just always like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't want a desk job. I don't want to work in the corporate world. Like, I love talking and I love making bonds with people, and I love social connections, and I have always been a big people person. So I was like, there's nothing else I want to do. And I love making people feel pretty too. So I knew that. And then once I was in hair school, I'm not going to lie, there were some points where I was like, I don't know, like, is this what I want to do? But then I would go get my hair done and sit in a salon and be like, oh my gosh, like, I love everybody that's working here. Like, I want this. Like, I would just sit there and be in awe the whole time of like being in a salon. And I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is where I know I'm going to be.
Oh yeah. It sounded like it was a bit of you for sure.
Oh yeah. It was all like
you, because a lot of clients, they're more like, oh my God, how do you work around hair all day? How do you deal with hair getting on you? I'm like, wow, I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
I actually love it. I don't think about the hair on the floor or what got on my pants.
Or after you do a haircut and you use the restroom, it's just everywhere.
Seriously. I used to tell, when you're in relationships and, you know, you have all this cheating and stuff going on, I'm like, well, you can just cheat with the blonde, because I would never know if I found a hair in this bed.
No, literally, because it's
I
like,
mean, I would think it was from me.
no,
Shower, whatever.
totally, 100%.
If you could go back to beauty school, is there anything you wish you had focused on more while
Yes.
you were there?
Hair cutting. When I was in beauty school, my whole mindset was like, I want to be a good colorist and I want to do color and I want to, especially because social media is so big for my generation. Like, the only thing I would ever see on Instagram or TikTok was like color videos and like chemical working and highlighting, all of this stuff. So then when it came time to like pull out the hair cutting mannequin and like focus and practice and really learn how to do it, I really like lacked in that department. And if I'm going to be honest, it showed in my work when I first started hair, because I never took that as serious as I needed to.
Well,
So,
might I suggest at Ashley Norman Hair, at Sana Brado, I'll put them, you know, I'll shoot you over their,
yes, please.
you know, their profiles after.
Mhm.
Two of the best haircutting education platforms
I
on
love
the
it.
market.
I'll be in it. I'm going to be in it.
They're women, so girl power, and just they're so knowledgeable and so perfect for someone wanting to really hone in on those haircutting skills and perfect them.
Yeah. And it's like, don't get me wrong. I can do a haircut. Like, I can do the basic haircut, make it look good. I can do the basic layered haircut with face framing pieces. Like, I can do it. But then it's like, okay, I don't really feel comfortable doing a pixie cut. I can do a bob, but I'm not going to give you the best bob on the market. And it's,
No, I know what you mean.
yeah, and it's
I know
hard
what
to
you
be
mean.
honest about that
We talk about that with education and the younger generation, because you guys, you do get a lot of your influence from social media. You get a lot of your influence from YouTube videos, whatever. And then you think, well, if I just practice it, hit pause, hit pause. I mean, that's one way to learn. And if you are a self-starter, if you are just a high-level visual learner, you could probably get away with it, but it's even still, hands-on training is unmatched. There is nothing better than having that instructor standing over you, an advanced level of what you learned in beauty school, obviously, which is all about elevations, like a 0, a 45, a 90, a 180. But
also not numbers. So that made it even harder. And then I was like, I don't care. Like, I just don't.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that, you know, one of the reasons why I created this platform is so that both seasoned and new hairdressers collide here. You know, because it takes all of us. I'm so excited for the young generation, because you have a different point of view on what's old. You make old new, right? And so, but we got to get those foundational skills, because once you have those, your confidence level goes through the roof, and you have a base for every shape there is. You will look at that shape and know exactly how to execute it. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. So go on.
Yes. So the one thing I really would have focused more was on hair cutting. I honestly think that was it, because most of the other things I was genuinely interested. I mean, except for like, you know, how you have to do like chemistry and anatomy, like you have to do like the small courses. But other than that, something that I do use day to day that I wish I had solidified when I was still in beauty school would 100% be hair cutting.
For sure.
And honestly, like, me and my entire class didn't care about it, so it didn't help that like all the other girls in my class were like, we don't want.
There was nobody rallying to learn how to do a pixie cut, but lived in color. They're like, where do I sign up?
Fighting over the bleach. We were like, I don't want
But
to.
you know, you do have I noticed that on social media. It's heavily saturated with hair color and beaded rose. I mean, my God, if you don't know how to do those by now, I think
No, it's
I don't know what you've been doing.
same. I mean, you can learn it. So, I mean, in beauty school, I would literally look on Instagram and TikTok about toner formulas and like, oh, with this girl, she posted her toner formula on this blonde. So that's what I'm going to do on my blonde that I have coming in. It honestly was like everything. That was largely where I learned toning.
Yeah. I mean, and even color, it'd be nice to train with someone who could really teach you the intricacies
Mm-hmm.
and the nuances of color, because we do get a lot of cut and paste education, like copy paste.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
she did it, so I'm going to do this exact thing on, my client, and which leads me into your learning and growth. What's the biggest challenge you faced since starting to rent your chair, and how have you worked through that?
The biggest challenge that I faced is working against like my own thoughts, and B, clientele. Those two things I feel like have been really big. I'll start with the clientele. I think that I had kind of like put in my mind, I have to go to a big and busy salon so I can build my clientele. And once I have it, that's when I can go and be in my own suite. So when I had first gone in to my chair, I was like, okay, like, why am I, like, what am I even doing? So then I would ask anybody, like anybody that walked by that was a hairstylist, I'd be like, how did you build your clientele? Like, what did you do? And sometimes it's hard because they'll be like social media. And at one point I really felt like there was like 100 stylists to one client. And I felt like the videos that I was posting just felt like so like okay, this is what she posted and she got 1 million views. So like, let me just post that too. But I also had to realize that like, it's a community that loves to watch it and see it. So then I had like posted my first video that did good. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, like definitely. And I think when people say social media, I think they mean growing a following and an audience, because in my opinion, I feel like most clients will look at your following and be like, okay, how many followers does she have? Okay, she's probably good if she has this many followers and stuff. Which is hard because there's like some of the best stylists that have like 100 followers. And I'm like,
well, that's what we always say on this show. Like, the best stylist is just not the best, may not be the best content creator, and the best content creator might not be the best stylist.
And I honestly agree to that, like 100%. I really do. But so that was definitely a shock for me, is the clientele. But what I did to kind of like get where I'm at today is I posted in Facebook groups. So if anybody's trying to build a clientele, that was like the biggest like feedback I got was from posting in Facebook groups, mom groups, Gilbert groups, like just anything. I just posted I made a little pamphlet and posted it. And I was like, if you find me from this post, you can get $10 off any service.
So smart.
Yeah. So I got a lot back from that, and word of mouth is huge.
Word of mouth is the only way that we could do it back in my day, like us old people always say. But it is the best, because if somebody's physically standing in front of someone and looking at their hair, not the filtered version of their blonde, not the right angle for the content, but they're looking at this person, yoga class, grocery store, gym, whatever, that is the best way to get a client.
I agree 100%.
If you had the chance, would you have spent more time assisting a seasoned stylist before renting your own space, or do you feel like you invested the right amount of time?
I definitely think I invested the right amount of time assisting. I definitely would not want to spend any more. When I first started assisting, I was kind of in the routine of just handing foils and washing hair and doing the blow dry. And I am like such a person that I have to see an end goal and know exactly how I'm going to get there and be actively like working to get there. And I also am a very hands-on learner. So it was hard for me to just watch and not do it and make the mistakes and learn like, okay, like I remember I took that slice too big, which is why, you know, these top two corners are orange. And that's why. So once I was finally able to start working up the heads is when I really felt like I could start to learn things and really like take them in and understand this is why I'm doing this. Like I'm taking this slice so thin so that it's all going to lift even, or I'm going to tone this with this. And this is why, because and I was actively learning it as I was doing it, which is really important for me. And I think something in the assisting world that I feel like a lot of girls experience is the just handing foils and just washing hair and stuff like that, because a lot of stylists don't have them in there to learn. They have them to help make the day go by quicker and make more money, which is okay. I think that's great, but you don't need a licensed stylist to go in there and handy foils and wash hair and blow dry. So I think almost as a community, it needs to be more wanting to help, wanting to learn, because when I was going through that, I talked to 10 other girls that I went to hair school with that were assisting, and they all said the same thing, except one who was already foiling, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And not saying that that's a bad thing at all, because I can understand, like, obviously not in the first week you're going to be foiling. I mean, of course, maybe not even the first month, but I think pushing girls to learn, and I mean, baby hairstylist assistants, pushing them to learn and pushing them to have confidence in working on your client's head is really, really important, because it makes them feel good. Like, okay, like she trusts me, like, okay, and I know that I'm going to be able to do it. And it helps the learning process go by so much quicker.
Let me ask you though, so you said, so I don't know, I haven't been to beauty school in a long ass time. So are you not learning foil work in beauty school?
You are, but you're learning the basic.
Okay.
Like you're learning to put a foil in, and they're telling you take a thin slice. And I mean, you're doing it here and there. And I don't want to be like beauty school is so pointless.
It is.
It is. It really is.
I mean, it teaches you theory to some degree, and it teaches you how to protect your clients. So I think it does have a place, because, you know, you have to learn sanitation. You just have to. And that's not the part your seasoned stylist who you assist under, they're not there to show you that. Exactly. You know what I mean? So beauty school is good for that. It's good for theory. And it's good for introducing you to hair where you can get your feet wet. You can get real practical skills on human beings once you graduate to the floor. And that really does prepare you for what's next. Because if you walk into assist someone
and you know nothing.
I had an old assistant once who didn't even know how to hold the shears. And I was like, well, I can't start here. Like I thought you would already know that. So yeah, I want to crap on beauty schools, but then I don't want them to go away either. Right.
Yeah. You need. Yeah,
so but I love what you said about assisting and the importance of whoever you're assisting for them to truly be invested in your career as a stylist, because you don't come in licensed to fold hair or fold towels, foils, and sweep hair. You come in licensed because you want to be a hairdresser. And I've always mentored every single assistant I've had them for way too long because they don't want to leave the nest. I'm like, you can leave now. You can.
Like, I need to try something else.
And I'm like, yes, do my clients when I'm not here. Yes, you rent a chair somewhere else. You work for me part-time.
I
Go to
love
her when you can't go to me, because she is an extension of me. I've always looked at it as, if you train them to be a duplicate of you, that's a feather in your cap.
such
That
a
you could train somebody to grow in their career and actually do what you do. That means you were a good teacher.
100%.
Yeah. So would you say that, because I feel, here's where I feel the misstep is
Mm-hmm.
in my experience. I feel like when you go for an interview, you're promised one thing, and
Yeah.
then the default is it's not that, because they really don't have time for that. So the default is you end up being towels, foils, sweeping
Yeah.
hair.
Which I agree with. I think that happened to me at both places I was at. And it's unfortunate. It is. And I think that, I mean, just as humans, we naturally want to tell people what they want to hear. So, of course, like when you're interviewing a potential assistant, you're going to be like, I'm going to teach you everything. You're going to have, it's going to be everything you've ever wanted, because you need the help and you need someone there to help you do the little things and to make you be able to get that extra client in for that extra money in for the week. You know what I'm saying? So it's, I don't, condemn that. I don't know the word I'm looking for, like judge that, because it's like, that's just naturally what people are going to do. And they're going to,
I can relate to that too, though, Jessie. I've been on both sides,
yeah.
because it took a while for me to get to the point where I could just, I'm like, where you get to the point where nobody can be you. I don't care
Mhm.
what you teach somebody else. They're still not you. They don't have your hands. They don't have your creativity, your vision, your artistic ability. So doesn't mean they're going to do it exactly like you. So when you bring an assistant in, that person cannot be your competition. That is the mindset.
100%. And I
You
think,
cannot look at them like your competition. But I've been there. But it was when I was a younger
yeah,
stylist that I was like, wait a minute, I'm threatened. Like, what if you go and you take my and da 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 da? And I'm like, and then I reached the point. That's just the maturation process of growing in your craft, and just we all
totally,
suffer from a little intimidation, a little ego, a little pride. We all
100%.
do. And it takes, you have to have that happen enough times before you see yourself in
Yeah.
that.
And
Does that
honestly,
make
it's
sense?
amazing. Yeah, that you can even say, like, I have been there.
Oh my God. I remember that. And because you know why? Because that assistant literally told me. And
Yeah.
she was like my third assistant at that time, when I had a 10-chair salon with a partner, and we were like a really happening salon in Old
Yeah.
Town. And she told me after 3 months, she says, you know what? You promised me that you teach me this. We were going to do cutting. We are going to do that. And then I said, well, but you've been learning. She goes, no, you haven't taught me shit. Those
Yeah.
literally were her words.
I've been there.
She said, you have not taught me shit. And
I love
so I came here and gave up being home with my kids, and being away from my family, because you were somebody that had a really good reputation, and who I thought I could learn from. And you said you were going to. I don't feel like I've learned anything, and I've been here for 3 months. All I do is faux towels, sweep
Yeah.
hair. And then I realized, I said, damn, facts. So
You're like, you know what?
but
I'm not even going to argue it with you. You're
yeah,
right.
I thought by you watching me that was your privilege, that I would even let you come in my presence and watch me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No,
Like,
I get it.
you could, maybe I would let you blow dry, and I let you wash hair.
Yeah.
But
Maybe I'll just go dry the
yeah,
front.
that's growth. And it took her
It
saying
is.
that, because had she not said it, Jessie, I
Mhm.
don't think I ever would have even clued in that there's that other side. Because
Yeah.
I'm the busy stylist who's trying to keep up and get my coins and go home, right? So
100%.
yeah, you do. I think that's kind of what started this whole, now I see you new stylist. I
Yeah.
can see you now, and now I'm mindful and I and conscientious in that space that
I love that. I agree with literally everything you said. And it takes a certain type of person to do that and to have put aside feeling threatened and feeling like there's, you know, a competition of clients and stuff like that. And I also, touching on like the client poaching stuff and everything like that, I came into the hair world with the mindset that there's enough for everybody. And if it's one client's not for me, then she's going to be for the next girl, because I look at this as like a community and like we're all trying to help each other and we all want to work for each other. So I do think it's hard to really be able to teach someone and let them in when you still feel like what's mine is mine, and like you're not.
I worked hard to get here. This is mine. Yeah, absolutely. And valid.
Only naturally you'll feel like that 100%.
Yep.
Like I can't be mad at that. Like you have to, I'm like, I would probably be the same way. So it's like, but it takes that, you have to like take that layer down and be like, no, I'm a teacher. But
yeah, I know that's unfortunate, but like I said, I think that's growth in one's journey, and each experience, every experience, whether it's good or bad, is a lesson. And if you don't see the lesson, then you've missed the mark, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, now I think what I say when you end up in a situation like that is you take that, get rid of, you know, whatever, if you're harboring anything, just bury it. It's gone, because it's only gonna hurt you and not allow and block you in getting to where you need to go. 100%. So I say the lesson is for you is when you get to the level where you have your own assistant, now you know the assignment. Now you know exactly what to do. I know, and that is the reason you went through whatever it is that you experienced.
And I was able to get on this podcast and spread.
Yes.
So yay. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm proud of you and where you've come, and we all have a story, honest to God.
Yeah.
Horror stories, and mine, you know, site Quick Bar was, I came from Tony and Guy, a big corporate type of salon. And at the time it was probably one of the most popular salons in Scottsdale, if not the most, right? Yes. And they, you know, when I left, the stylists who were still working there, who were my friends, they were instructed not to even speak to me.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's a whole thing. I'm like, well, damn, don't send the army after me. Like, is this a cult? Is this a cult?
Whoa, this is just my job.
Yeah, is this a gang? Do I need to be jumped out? I didn't know.
I
didn't know.
Sometimes it feels like it. Oh, my God.
Right? So in all of that, that's part of your journey that you will, I promise you, it's going to kick in later and you're going to be better for it. Yes, so what's one thing you've learned in the past year, if not that, maybe it's that you wish you knew when you first started doing hair?
I would say how ruthless the industry is.
Yeah. Well, you should have called me. You didn't know me, but I should have just jumped into your life and just told you that real quick.
Again, I needed you. But I don't even want to say that, because that makes, like, I don't want to sound like I'm trashing like hair and like the industry and stuff like that.
No, it's not coming across that way, because again, you're talking to the next generation of hair. So if that is the case, these are the pitfalls. This is the whole reason for this show. It's not to bash hair per se. It's to share your experience and what you wouldn't do if you had it to do over again. You're not saying you wouldn't be a hairdresser. You're just saying that in your journey, I probably would have done this different. I didn't know this. So that now there's a new 15-year-old somewhere getting ready to start beauty school in high school that's going to watch this interview and go, ooh, good to know.
I love that. I literally love that. Well, number one, Try assisting in a salon and a suite before you choose which one you're gonna do. Like, and really, really interview and ask questions and be present during the interview. Just be nice and positive all the time, no matter what. I think that's something that's really important to me as a stylist. And I think that when you work in an predominantly women industry, I don't want to say all women, but predominantly women.
It's predominantly women somehow, but men own everything. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Me too, girl.
Every product bottle is some man's name, but I digress.
And it can be hard at times. It really can. And I think as long as you always have grace and, you know, like your little positive penny in your pocket, then that will always help. And then I would say to literally work your ass off. I think that a lot, I mean, even myself, like I was kind of like, maybe it's just like my generation, but it's kind of like, I almost like expected things a little bit, and I like expected to already, you know, be doing this and having this, and like I expected to be given that without asking and without proving myself a little bit. So I just think it's really important to work hard and like have that stamina and to not give up and to not get discouraged, which we all have at some point doing hair and in this career. But yeah, I feel like
that's a great answer. And you don't know how happy I am to hear you at your stage of life and in the industry, that you recognize that it takes hard work, and that you also are transparent and honest that you didn't think it would be this hard.
No,
you know, and that it would be handed to you.
Yes.
And you could skip past this. I watched this on YouTube enough times. Can I just skip past this?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
I remember the first like day as being my own stylist and like having a full day of clients, just me working. And I texted my mom and I was like, I underestimated this shit. Like I was so tired. I was exhausted. And I was like, I really thought that this was just like a piece of cake. And it's
I bet it then, you know, in your heart of hearts, you said, I guess that's why when you become an assistant, you get handed all this part.
Yeah.
Because that trying to do it all yourself is hard.
Insane.
Hard. So hard.
But I love
building your clientele, which is our next topic. Perfect segue.
Love that.
So building your clientele, how did you start building your clientele? You talked about you went on social media, that you rely on word of mouth, but what advice would you give to other new hairstylists looking to do kind of what you did? I know you kind of touched on it earlier, so maybe that was the answer to the question, but is there anything else that you did that you feel helped? Because or let me ask you this. Are you actually busy? Are you full? Do you have a full week?
I have, so for the next month and a half, my Wednesdays and Saturdays are completely booked.
Woohoo!
I'm so excited. It's honestly, I feel like I'm dreaming. And then I do like 3 clients a day, 9, 12, and then 3. So yeah, it's honestly, but that's not to say that I'll look at my month of October and be like, I have no clients. So it's a process, and like just being so real and honest, like I have no clients except for like the extension people that I've booked out for October. But that honestly is like, that's just what comes with
You know what? If you can be as new into the business as you are and have any day that's booked, first of all, give yourself a hand. Secondly, even if you have been in the industry for years, it takes a long time to get to that level where you're booked out 2 months in advance. And even if you are, they say it's time to raise your prices because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Because hand them over because we need some too.
Yeah, exactly. So good for you. I'm so
Yeah,
proud of you.
thank
So
you.
what's the most rewarding part about working independently at your own and having your own chair? What do you find most rewarding?
All of it. Like honestly, like I can't, even though of course like the bills are stressful and paying for product is stressful, and I'm honestly still learning about like tax. Right, I don't mean, I'm 19, I barely even know, like I'm like, what is a tax? I'm like, what is this? But
Well, my advice to you is hire the people that know how to do it.
the accountant, I already got one hired. I haven't been
Yeah,
able to.
hire a bookkeeper or
Yeah.
the QuickBooks people, or hire people that know how to do it. Set yourself up now for your retirement, for your health insurance, for treat yourself like an employee.
Mhm.
You know, set your tax filing up to where you are an employee of your business versus a sole proprietor.
Okay.
Because when you just give yourself draws, like owner draws, you just take money out of your business account for yourself. That makes it really hard down the line when you want to qualify for a loan to buy a house, when you want to, you know, when you start to scale up and you start to make real money.
Mhm.
Then the way the banks and lenders and different entities view you, um, you don't, they only go by your personal accounts. So if you're using your business account as your business and your personal account,
It
bad
does.
idea. Don't
Yeah.
do it now. Like start, because once you start doing that
Okay, well,
and you
I'm doing
start,
that right now, so I'm gonna like not do that
yeah,
anymore.
and once you get a personal account, a business
Okay.
account,
Okay.
and then set yourself up as an employee, so where you actually get a paycheck.
Okay.
Okay. It doesn't mean that you can't go in later and take owner draws for whatever reason, valid reason, right? But
Yeah.
set yourself up that way so that too, you're also paying into social security. You're
Yeah.
also paying into Medicare. You're not old enough to care about any of this, but I promise you, life
I need
passes you
to.
by.
Yeah.
And then if you will wake up 20 years later and go, oh, wow, I didn't pay into social security at all. Like, damn, I don't have anything in my savings. I don't have anything in retirement. I don't have anything. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I really do want to be so good at money too and all of that stuff. So I'm taking that very seriously, which
I'm
is hard.
thrilled.
I know. Yay,
I'm
that makes
happy
me.
place.
But
So when you have any tips for, or what do you do to balance the business side of renting your chair with the artistic side? Like when you have to go and do education and all of that, do you have that down where you could, you know, where you're saving to where you can give yourself a sick day and a personal day so you can go out and, you know, how are you paying for your training? Are you setting that money aside, or have you thought about those things?
honestly, right now, if I'm going to be totally honest, I'm working 2 jobs. So I do hair and then I have a part-time retail job. I also just moved into my own house, or like not my own house, but I split it with 3 other girls. So all of my money right now is going to rent for both places, and then product and like this basic
Perfectly fine.
necessities. Yeah, like
Perfectly.
toilet paper and stuff like that. But I hate to like bring this back up, but I really do feel like I get so much education from literally just watching Instagram and TikTok and girls that do the voiceovers. And that's not to say that it's not the same as an in-person class, because it's not. Like if I had the money to do that, or like had enough, I was making enough to be able to have a savings for education, I would. And I definitely want to be there and I want to have that because I think it's so fun and I love learning from other people, especially being in a suite. I feel like I don't get to see as like many other techniques and like stuff like that. So I
Do you
definitely,
work with a partner? You do
yeah,
work with a
I have,
partner, but do
yeah.
you guys work together? I know you share the suite, but are you sharing it separately, or do you work in there together?
Some days we'll be in there together, but she's a mom and she has 3 boys, and like our schedules are very different because
Gotcha.
we're, you know, different places.
But you know what? You are where you are in the process, but just keep that in the back of your head, right?
Yeah.
That you will eventually want to go to a show or want to get yourself out there. And I think that's what social media or online education, I believe that's what it's for. It's
Yeah.
for when you're at this stage, but it's
100%.
not to stay there. I call it the welfare of hair.
I love that.
It's there to assist you. It's all that are succeeding, passing down for free, all of the information you need, but you cannot live your whole life like
There.
that.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Yep. So I
I
think you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
good on you. How would you, Jessie, how would you describe your personal style as a stylist? And how does it reflect in the work you do behind the chair? Like, what's your personal style?
My personal style is very fun and bubbly and like just all of those things. I mean, like I have like a cute halter top on and jeans. Like that's very much like my vibe, and I love everything that's trending, honestly. Like I'm stuck in that, and I just love the new things, and I think that reflects in my work because I like to be up to date on the next best thing, the next best look, the next best hair trend. Like, okay, we're doing lived in blonde, we're doing bright blondes, everybody wants to have hair health, so we're going natural. Like, and I really think that shows in the girls that come to me. I mean, I think they see me as, you know, I'm young and I probably know what the trend is and what they're going to want. And clients honestly do look at like your style, like literally what you're wearing will determine whether they're going to come to you or not, which is crazy, but it's true. So I think
it is true.
Yeah, I think they kind of look at that and they're like, okay, well, she's got
But
to know.
you're not only their hairdresser, but you're an influencer behind the chair. I
Yeah.
know over the years that I've done hair, I know I've influenced my clients because I'll wear a pair of shoes and then 10 people come in with
Yeah.
them in,
I mean,
with them on. They're
yeah.
like, Kim, I got those shoes. And they're like writing stuff down of where did you get this? Where did you get that?
It's real. It is so real. And I love that. Like, it's just so like girlhood.
But that's the way it should be. And now that I'm older, I realize my clients are, some of them, not all, I have young and older, but they were my age when I was young. And so older people, who don't want to be crotchety and look and act old, they do want a younger stylist because as we said in the beginning, you're the future. You have your pulse on what's now, what's trending, like when it comes out, not 4 months later when we come across it on Facebook, you know. And I am not one of those old people on Facebook.
You're not. I'm obsessed with you. You're literally like the cutest, trendiest person. Hence the trendy with Kim Allison.
That's why I called it that.
Yeah,
You got it. See, because you're young. Only young people know where I'm at.
I love that. But yeah,
no, that's cool.
That's what shows in my clients. It's just that I'm always like up to.
That's good. Then you got it down. Who or what inspires you in your work? Because you inspire your clients, but who inspires you to do what you do? Whether it's a trend, are there specific styles, or is it something else?
I love Main Ivy. That's like I'm obsessed
Main
with.
Ivy.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a she. Okay.
Yeah, that's like the name of her brand. I think it's Michelle Zeller. But she's just such an icon, and I think she's so cool. So I do love to like look at her work. I mean, anything. Honestly, I get on Instagram and it's like all hair. So I feel like there's like a mass group of stylists that I love. But yeah, I feel like that is what inspires me, and like seeing those types of people go from like a suite to opening a salon, I think is so inspiring. I mean, even just their like day-to-day life and the cars they drive and like the clients they have, and that they're able to take, 5 clients a week and then the next week they can go on a trip. Like, I think all of that stuff is really, really inspiring because it shows that you can make it and make money as a hairstylist. So I think that is super, super inspiring. And then just pushing myself always, keeping myself on my toes, and just the people around me.
Yeah, and that's important to have somebody that is doing, I don't want to use the word better, but somebody that you aspire to be. It's nothing wrong. It doesn't mean that you're worshiping someone or that you're envious. It's a healthy envy. It doesn't mean that you wish you were them. It just means that they're almost like a benchmark for you, and that you're like, you know what, if that person did it, now I know it's possible.
I mean, even like girls I went to beauty school with and stuff, like seeing them like be like, if they're a step ahead of me, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that just inspired me. I'm gonna get there too. So I mean, just everybody, like everything.
Girl, I can't wait to see who you become, because I know this is just scratching the surface. We haven't even begun to know where you're going to go, because you have the determination and drive, and that's all you need.
Seriously.
And of course, the talent. And speaking of that, let's share your beautiful work, you guys. Yay. She is so good.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that one. I added the before in, but she was more of like a warm blonde.
Okay.
And that was like a full makeover. We did a full highlight, teased out the tips. It was really beautiful.
How long does something like that take, Jessie?
Usually takes me 3 hours. I usually spend an hour and 15, maybe an hour, kind of hard to tell. It depends on like the hair and stuff, foiling. And then I let it process. And then the other end is just toning, blow drying, styling, and then like content, social media.
That's so cool. And your generation, I'm sure that's already worked into the appointment, the social media part. 100%. Mine, we miss that part. It's like, nah, I ain't got time for that.
It's like the first thing on my list. I'm like, okay, let's go take a before video.
Of course, yes. And so you would, as far as charging for a service like this, because that's where a lot of newbies go wrong, is they don't charge what they're worth. They don't charge enough because they don't feel they're worth it. When they do beautiful hair.
Yeah. So for that,
charge what, without telling me, because you don't have to tell me the number, but do you charge what you're worth?
I think I am now, for sure. I mean, I was doing dirt cheap hair. Like, I would charge people, like, because I wanted faces on my social media. And I think a lot of stylists do that. So I would be like, okay, like, I'll literally charge you $100 for a full highlight, whatever you want, like, come in. But now, like, something
you kind of have to do that, though.
You do. And like,
you have to do a lot of things for free.
Yeah, you do. And then, like, for that, I charge $265.
Okay.
So I think that's
not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And I think it's for where I'm at.
Yeah. Let's talk about her extensions.
We did a full transformation. We added 2 rows of extensions, and then we did a full highlight. And then that's her processing.
Woohoo! Do you recommend that heat lamp? Infrared, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters. I mean, I've used all types of dryers, so it's like, I think that they all work the same. I mean, I lay in a red light for my psoriasis, so I think it's great, but the way that it affects like the hair, I'm not too sure.
Okay, so if you put her under a hooded dryer, you think you would get the same end result?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I wondered, I said, it looks fancy, but do I need one of those? Miss Gadget Girl who buys everything? I'm terrible.
No, honestly, I feel like the hooded one does a better job.
So why do you choose a trifold versus sandwiching like others? I noticed when
Foil
you foil, because isn't there a risk that you're going to get those lines of
part.
demarcation?
Yeah.
And
Well, I don't want to be like I'm a super saturator, but I love, like, I do, like, I make sure that like everything's saturated. And I was also just trained that way. I was
okay,
trained to fold foils that way. And I mean, 99.9% of the time, it always came out fine.
okay,
So I think I kind of just trust that. But when
okay.
I'm doing, for example, low lights, I only do one fold. I don't do like the try. I just do,
Sure.
because I
Yeah.
don't want to risk.
What's
No,
your favorite bleaching ratio, mixing ratio to get the level of saturation that you get?
I wish I could tell you like a
Is it,
certain.
are you visual or do you measure?
Yeah, but it's just visual. Just the consistency.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just everything that I was kind of like trained on is just still what I do. I mean,
You already know. Yeah.
yeah, I just know like the type of consistency and
What's your favorite bleach to use?
the Schwarzkopf. Is that how I say it?
Blondie?
I use Blonde Me. I love it.
You don't deal with swelling with that one?
I do. If I oversaturate or I let it
Got
sit for
you.
too long. But I have like, if you have like a long, thick hair come in, you get swelling and you get bleed marks and then you have to go over it with toning. I have tried though with like hair like that. I've tried the Redken Flash Lift,
Okay.
which I did like, and I didn't experience any swelling. And also, Kayla, you had her on the podcast.
Oh yeah. I
She
love
told me
her.
that she mixes the two, and then that helps helps her not have swelling. So I'm yet to try that, but I'm going to try that.
Good
Um,
idea.
yeah, and then I've also tried Wella. So I think out of those three, definitely my favorite was Blonde Me. And again, like that's
Well,
Yeah, but just
Blonde Me
wait. Just
gets
wait.
you there quick.
huh?
Blonde Me gets you there quick.
It does, which I like.
So
This
what are we
is like
doing here?
foil pulling. The reason I sent this is because one thing that I wish I would have taken more into account is when you pull your foils in hair school. And then when I started doing hair, I would stress so much about like, oh my gosh, okay, like it's been sitting for 20 minutes. Cause in hair school, they're like, you're gonna pry the hair off and all this stuff. So I'd pull it and it'd be like bright orange. And then I'd be like, okay, now I need to like tone this out. So I think it's important that you lift the hair to its max without damaging it. And you'll know, like, I don't know, I guess like I can feel it. Like I can feel like, okay, it's been under there too long, or you can tell like just off the time. But I think like with that lift, her blonde came out so beautiful. And I probably didn't even need to tone it, but I just do, like the extra step anyway. I agree. To lifting is like, I think it's the most important thing. Like if your lift from the foil isn't good, and I've like experienced it myself, like if the lift isn't good, then
Forget
I
it.
fix it with toning. But I think it's just super important to have that.
Yeah, because your client, it's going to be exposed when the toner wears off anyway.
Yes. Yeah. And then they'll come back and be like, my hair's fading orange or brassy or stuff like that. So
It's true. It's
it
true.
is.
Let's talk your future aspirations.
Okay.
And because we know you do amazing work, we have tracked your journey so far, that you did all the steps. You started early in high school so that you were prepped and ready to go at an early age.
Yeah.
You assisted, you tried big commission, you tried salon suite, and now you have managed to work your way. You've landed in your own chair.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Working with a partner, and then I think your next step is going to be working by yourself. So, not that I need to tell your story. You're the guest. I am the interviewer.
I love it. No, I love it.
Again, I always have to remind myself, Kim, it is not about you, girl.
No, it is. This is your
step aside.
It is about you.
So where do you see yourself in the next few years?
I
Your own words.
I want to be in my own suite and have my own space or something of the sort, honestly. Like, I do love working with like another girl. Like, I love when she's there. So maybe having a shared suite, but not being a subleaser, like actually owning it and stuff like that, I think would be amazing. I mean, hopefully even just having pre-bookings, I hope I have that. I think that's definitely a goal that I see for my future. But yeah, honestly, just those two things, really being solid in my schedule and having a consistent schedule of booked clients and only doing hair, of course, is a goal for sure.
Yeah, those are great goals.
Yeah, I'm really
And
excited.
all achievable goals.
Yes.
One of my other guests, he said, give away smiles for free. And
Yes.
I thought that was so cute. And you
I love
definitely give away smiles for free. You pack a whole suitcase of smiles, like, oh my God, here you go. What advice, and now that you're new, but you have graduated out of green, like completely new. So what advice would you give to beauty school students or new stylists who are just starting out in that first year?
Just keep going.
Keep
Honestly,
going.
keep going, keep working hard. And if you're not happy with the space you're in, leave it and go somewhere else, because there is a place for you. There's always a place for everyone. Yeah.
Perfect.
Those three
I mean,
things.
that's perfectly said.
Yeah.
You have that fun personality, as we just discussed.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes.
What's your favorite hairstyle to create for clients and why? Is it the one you have? I'm talking a hairstyle. Is it a little cheerleader look? Is it an upsweep?
I love it.
Waves, because that is so cute.
Yeah, this is like definitely, this is
Your
like
favorite.
That or like a big bouncy blowout. Like, I love that. Like, think Pamela Anderson.
Yes.
That's what I want. I love that.
Did you watch my interview with Joseph Ianson?
Yes, I knew you're gonna. Yes.
Doesn't he do the best hair styling?
I'm obsessed. If he's watching, I'm literally obsessed with you.
If you could say something to Joseph, what would you say?
I stalk your Instagram all the time.
I'll definitely let him know that. I'll send him this clip. Like, Joseph, we love your work. Keep posting forever and ever and ever.
Yes.
So if you weren't a hairstylist, if you had decided to go a different way, what do you think you'd be doing?
Probably working in like the therapy field or working with special needs kids.
I thought you were going to say working with animals or children.
Yeah.
Your personality.
Well, I want to be like, I'd be a mom. Like, I would be a mom, but I'm like, I'm still.
Well, you're going to be a mom.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's coming.
A mom, for sure.
How do you stay so upbeat and motivated, especially when your job gets challenging? Because this is a challenging job, and we'll end with that question. How do you keep that? I mean, I know my advice is always don't ever let anyone dim your light, but what do you do to stay motivated and so bubbly when you have that irritable,
I totally
bad mood energy around you?
Honestly, my faith, that's what keeps me there. That's what keeps me positive and upbeat, is just my faith and God. So that's really what keeps me there.
I knew there was a reason I aligned with you.
Yeah, that's it.
I love God so much, and thank God he helps me every single day. And I didn't always love God. I didn't always see him, but I see him now, and I'm so grateful.
He's the reason I'm where I'm at. And I always know that wherever I don't feel welcome, or I haven't felt like the best, or I haven't felt like I'm doing enough, that in his eyes, like, I'm doing enough and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And I would never want someone to have a bad encounter with me and be like, she's a Christian, like, really? So I think that's also what always keeps me on my toes. But yeah, honestly, my faith, that's what keeps me strong-headed. And I know that I would never be put in a situation or be somewhere that I wasn't supposed to be or wasn't going to be able to handle. So that's what
I love that.
But there's also times, don't get me wrong, I am just like this.
Well, I mean, nobody ever said life was going to be easy. And
Never.
it's not supposed to be easy. And when it's hard, that's when people want to blame God. Well, why would God let no,
Yeah.
God didn't let anything. Like you have free will.
Yeah.
Some choices you made may or may not have led you there. If you are blindsided and something tragic happens, I don't know. I'm not God. I don't know why those things happen. That's what you take to prayer and meditation, and it'll come, you know?
That you're on the right path.
Yes, this was such a great little, I feel like I say every interview is great, but and that's not even true, because not every interview do I walk away feeling it was great.
Yeah.
But I will say the energy of this interview in particular, for many reasons, just fed my soul today. Yay. And I want to tell you how grateful I am that you took an hour out of your day to come on my show and share your story, which I know will resonate with somebody out there thinking about doing hair.
Yes, I hope it does. No, honestly, Kim, thank you. I'm honored. The fact that you even asked me to come on this is, I love it. Like,
oh, let's, before we lose everybody, because we're talking about God.
I know, but come back.
Let's do my fun little game, 60-second blowout.
Okay.
Where I give you your 1 minute of rapid fire questions. Answer them as quickly and honestly as you can.
Okay.
And this will be fun, for me at least.
Yes, I'm going to try and get all 20 questions.
Oh, you know what? Something tells me that you're capable.
I might be.
Okay, let me set my timer for 1 minute. You know what? I'm not even going to attempt. I'm going to put these things right on my face.
Okay.
Yay!
Cute. Love them.
Okay. Favorite hair color to work with?
Blondes.
Morning person or night owl?
Night.
Go-to snack during a busy day?
Nutella and pretzels.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite social media platform?
TikTok.
Blondes or brunettes?
Blondes.
Dream celebrity client?
Kim Kardashian.
Straight or curly hair?
Curly.
Most used emoji?
This one.
Favorite song to play in the salon?
Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish.
Go-to hairstyle for yourself?
Half up, half down.
Favorite place to travel?
Hawaii.
Heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Bold colors or neutral tones?
Neutral tones.
Favorite season of the year?
Summer.
Texting or talking on the phone?
Talking on the phone. Oh! How many more did we have?
You only had 2.
Oh no!
That is so cool. But you got the furthest of anybody. I'm not even lying. So the last thing, and this is where we see how humble you are, make your silliest selfie face. Oh my God. Amazing. Lovely. Just as I knew you'd be.
Yes.
Jessie, have the most amazing day.
Thank you. You too.
An amazing week. And if you need me, and if anyone else out there who is new coming into the industry needs me, please don't hesitate to give me a DM. I'm just a DM away.
Yeah, I would do it. Take her up on that. Seriously. Because I wish when I first started, I had this.
Aw. Yeah. Well, thank you, love. Until next time, we'll see you soon. You know what? We'll see you when you have your own salon suite. How about that?
You will.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.